Welcome to each and every one of you. This is beautiful. On behalf of the Board of Directors of the Wally H. Bates Legacy Center, we welcome you to our first Teacher Appreciation Breakfast. We are so pleased and grateful to have your presence and your support this morning. We plan to have this event biannually, or is it annually? So we hope you will enjoy our program and be encouraged to join us again in 2017. I would like to introduce to you the host and hostesses of our celebration this morning. The Board of Directors, will you please stand when your name is called and remain standing until all members are recognized. Our Chairman, Vincent Leggett. Vice Chairman, yours truly, Linda Boyd. Acting Treasurer, Joseph Butler, who's probably out at the table collecting money. Cynthia Caldwell, our Secretary. George Gaither, Mary Grace McDade, Clarence Ross, Angelina Brown, who could not be with us this morning, Natalie Ballard, Reverend John Watts, and Edith Knight, who are not here. And we have our events coordinator, Alma Cropper, and Alta Shaw, who's dedicated a lot of volunteer hours to our program. We also have within our guests some honorees. Oh, thank you. There are a few other people I'd like to recognize. We have from the Board of Education, member of the Board of Education, former principal, former teacher, Patty Nally. Dr. Karen Johnson, senior pastor at First Christian Community Church. And she, did I say Dr. Karen Johnson? She just received her doctorate degree. Also with us this morning, Reverend Stephen Tillett, pastor Broadneck United Methodist Church and president of the Anne Arundel County branch of the NAACP.
Mediocre teachers tell, great teachers explain, superior teachers demonstrate, great teachers inspire. Hello to everyone. This morning we are going to lift up great teachers, educators who have and continue to make a difference in the lives of young people. Education is the foundation of the Wally H. Bates Legacy Center. For the members of the Legacy Center Board of Directors and for all countywide supporters of the center, the continuation of educational and cultural enrichment to the state of Maryland is a key priority. Yes, this is a fundraiser. We do need funds to continue operating our center, and we also want to start a Wally H. Bates Scholarship Fund. However, This morning, what we want to do is celebrate educators past and present, those who have inspired students when our communities were very unique and segregated, those who inspired students when school populations were just becoming diverse and we were learning how to interact with other ethnic groups. And of course, we want to lift up today's teachers who have the very challenging job of preparing all youngsters for success in our fast-paced, global, technological, and often very indifferent society. Teaching is hard work. Teaching is often unrewarded compared to other professions. Teachers often remain motivated by their love of children and their own intrinsic rewards. We want all educators present this morning to leave feeling appreciated for all that you have done for children and adults. We are aware that there are some other inspirational educators in our county and in the state of Maryland. This is our first effort. God willing, and with your future support, we will have opportunities to celebrate their accomplishments as well. Today, we hope you will join us as we commemorate the first Wally H. Bates Living Legends and Distinguished Educators. Our chairman of the board and your master of ceremonies will lead us through the program. And I just want to, for those of you who do not know Mr. Leggett, I just want to say a little bit about him. He has had a very distinguished career. I shouldn't say had, he's still working. Most of us on the board are retired. Vince is still working. But he's had a career in education with Baltimore City Public Schools, Anne Arundel County Public Schools, Anne Arundel Community College, has served as president of the Anne Arundel County Board of Education, and currently serves as the CEO of the Annapolis Housing Committee. And he will be your master of ceremony.
Often teachers get together, and when they do, they need motivation. So this is an example of something that principals show their teachers. And I think when you hear this Rita Pearson talk about every kid needs a champion, you'll get the idea of the whole purpose of what we're doing today. Enjoy.
I have spent my entire life either at the schoolhouse, on the way to the schoolhouse, or talking about what happens in the schoolhouse. Both my parents were educators. My maternal grandparents were educators. And for the past 40 years, I've done the same thing. And so needless to say, over those years, I've had a chance to look at education reform from a lot of perspectives. Some of those reforms have been good, some of them have been not so good. And we know why kids drop out. We know why kids don't learn. It's either poverty, low attendance, negative peer influences. We know why. But one of the things that we never discuss, or we rarely discuss, is the value and importance of human connection. Relationships. James Comer says that no significant learning can occur without a significant relationship. George Washington Carver says all learning is understanding relationships. Everyone in this room has been affected by a teacher or an adult. For years, I have watched people teach. I have looked at the best and I've looked at some of the worst. A colleague said to me one time, they don't pay me to like the kids. They pay me to teach a lesson. The kids should learn it. I should teach it. They should learn it. Case closed. Well, I said to her, you know, kids don't learn from people they don't like. She said, that's just a bunch of hooey. And I said to her, well, your year is going to be long and arduous, dear. Needless to say, it was. Some people think that you can either have it in you to build a relationship or you don't. I think Stephen Covey had the right idea. He said you ought to just throw in a few simple things, like seeking first to understand as opposed to being understood. Simple things like apologizing. You ever thought about that? Tell a kid you're sorry, they're in shock. I taught a lesson once on ratios. I'm not real good with math, but I was working on it. And I got back and looked at that teacher edition. I taught the whole lesson wrong. So I came back to class the next day and I said, look, guys, I need to apologize. I taught the whole lesson wrong. I'm so sorry. They said, that's okay, Miss Pearson. You were so excited. We just let you go. I have had classes that were so low, so academically deficient that I cried. I wondered, how am I going to take this group in 9 months from where they are to where they need to be? And it was difficult. It was awfully hard. How do I raise the self-esteem of a child and his academic achievement at the same time? One year I came up with a bright idea. I told all my students, you were chosen to be in my class because I am the best teacher and you are the best students. They put us all together so we could show everybody else how to do it. One of the students said, really? I said, really? We have to show the other classes how to do it. So when we walk down the hall, people will notice us. So you can't make noise. You just have to strut. And I gave him a saying to say, I am somebody. I was somebody when I came. I'll be a better somebody when I leave. I am powerful and I am strong. I deserve the education that I get here. I have things to do, people to impress, and places to go. And they said, yeah. You say it long enough, it starts to be a part of you. And so I gave a quiz, 20 questions. Student missed 18. I put a +2 on this paper and a big smiley face. He said, Miss Pearson, is this an F? I said, yes. He said, then why'd you put a smiley face? I said, because you on the roll. You got 2 right, you didn't miss them all. I said, and when we review this, won't you do better? He said, yes, ma'am, I can do better. You see, -18 sucks all the life out of you. +2 said, I ain't all bad. For years, I watched my mother take the time at recess to review, go on home visits in the afternoon, buy combs and brushes and peanut butter and crackers to put in her desk drawer for kids that needed to eat, and a washcloth and some soap for the kids who didn't smell so good. See, it's hard to teach kids who stink. And kids can be cruel. And so she kept those things in her desk, and years later, after she retired, I watched some of those same kids come through and say to her, you know, Miss Walker, you made a difference in my life. You made it work for me. You made me feel like I was somebody when I knew at the bottom I wasn't. And I want you to just see what I've become. And when my mama died 2 years ago at 92, there were so many former students at her funeral. It brought tears to my eyes, not because she was gone, but because she left a legacy of relationships that could never disappear. Can we stand to have more relationships? Absolutely. Will you like all your children? Of course not. And you know your toughest kids are never absent. Never. You won't like them all, and the tough ones show up for a reason. It's the connection, it's the relationships. And while you won't like them all, the key is they can never, ever know it. So teachers become great actors and great actresses, and we come to work when we don't feel like it, and we listen to policy that doesn't make sense, and we teach anyway. We teach anyway because that's what we do. Teaching and learning should bring joy. How powerful would our world be if we had kids who were not afraid to take risks, who were not afraid to think, and who had a champion? Every child deserves a champion, an adult who will never give up on them, who understands the power of connection and insists that they become the best that they can possibly be. Is this job tough? You betcha. Oh God, you betcha. But it is not impossible. We can do this. We're educators. We're born to make a difference. Thank you so much.
Could we please have a moment of silence for one of our legends, Mrs. Gwendolyn Queen Pendell, who just passed away since we began planning the program. Thank you very much. This is the highlight of our program. These are the teachers who made a difference in the lives of students throughout the generations. These are the teachers who have inspired many of us present today. Our legends are the teachers who taught their students during the time when society in general felt that educating Black students was not an important charge. These teachers taught classes that far exceeded today's student-to-teacher ratio. The classroom furniture, textbooks, and other materials of instruction were secondhand, and often the name of the previous school was clearly stamped on the item. In fact, during the early years of Wally H. Bates Junior-Senior High School, there was an unequal pay scale for Black teachers in our county. Nevertheless, as Bates students reflect upon the quality of education, guidance, encouragement, and nurturance, they are always appreciative of their high school teachers. For this reason, legends, we lift you up today. You are the very foundation of the legacy that we must continue. You were guided to do what was best for your students. That is also the legacy of Mr. Wally H. Bates. On behalf of the generations following you, we make a commitment to keep your legacy alive. Legends, would you please stand when your name is called, or if you prefer, just indicate from your seat who you are so the audience will know. And audience, would you hold your applause until the last name is called? Robert Brooks was unable to be with us today. Hannah Chambers. Betty Lee Culver. Nancy Giss was unable to be with us. Laura Haskins. Burma Hill. Dr. Ann Hudson Jenkins. Clementine Johnson. Donald Kess. Doris Knight. John Maple. Joyce McManus. Dr. Thelma Sparks was unable to be with us today. Bernice Johnson Tillett. Shirley Toy. Anne Goodwin Ventez. Laura Webb lives out of state. Did I get all of the legends? I don't want to leave anyone out. And Floretta Wingo. Ladies and gentlemen, your 2015 Wally H. Bates Living Legends. Let's give them. The legends will get a souvenir pin, and also, hopefully, they will be able to frame the list that has the names. And the lapel pin. Oh, in addition, we are going to have a plaque in the Legacy Center. Each one of the legends' names will go on the plaque. And we also plan to do some rap cards so that we can get just a couple of sentences about each one of them. They are truly history. You know what? Okay, Laverna Hall is a distinguished educator. That's okay. Just stay where you are.
Focus, young people. And so, Alta, you want to come in and tell folks what's happening during this segment, please?
Okay, this is a special tribute to teachers, past and present, from students. And so our first student is Joseph Lewis Buchanan III.
Good morning. My name is Joseph Buchanan III, and I would like to share with you how much I love teachers. I like teachers because they help with math and compound words. They are wonderful and there for you whenever you need them. Teachers are gentle, kind, and very loving. They are hard workers because they are responsible for all students. This school year, I had an awesome kindergarten teacher, and her name was Mrs. Mangle. Mrs. Mangle was very nice and patient with all of her students, especially with me on my silly days. My favorite activity was reading at the small group table, also known as the kidney table. Yes, it was called the kidney table because it was shaped like your organ. At this table, I always had the chance to participate in my favorite subject, reading. It's a good thing that I love teachers because I come from a family with a rich history of educators. Teachers are my family. My great-great-grandfather, great-grandmother, two of my great-aunts, and my grandmother were all teachers. Currently, my other grandmother and aunt are still teachers. I am around teachers all the time. Well, I hope you all enjoyed my speech about my love for teachers. Thank you, and I hope that you have a nice day.
Okay. Our next student couldn't be with us today. She is Dr. Linda Boyd's granddaughter, but she sent us a message, so pay attention.
I'm Micah Stevens, and I'm an upcoming 7th grader in the International Baccalaureate program at Annapolis Middle School. My favorite teacher is Mr. Kramer because he is very funny and he has a good way of teaching us. Mr. Kramer is my band teacher, and I'm in a 6th period class. He finds fun things to do besides just playing our instruments, but those fun things are a way of teaching us. On every C day, at lunch, he lets me and some of my other friends come eat lunch with him, and we play games. I enjoy teachers with a sense of humor while they teach us. Mr. Kramer teaches us about music and the value of music. He always tells us how mastering the arts will develop us into stronger students. I also think good teachers are the ones that will make sure you have good grades and believe in you. Mr. Kramer believes in me and encourages me to follow my passions. And he always tells me I will be a great musician when I grow up. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Jared Dove. I am a rising sophomore at Severn School in Smyrna Park, Maryland. It takes a special person to be a teacher. They have the ability to get a child to learn when their main thoughts are about playing with their friends, and they're able to push them to do their best when they don't understand the importance of doing good in school. They inspire their students every day to achieve more. The best teachers I've had didn't only use the book to teach from, but told us about their personal experiences to help us connect and learn. Teachers have the unique ability to connect with every one of their students and make a difference in their lives. Dr. Marva Collins said, "I'm a teacher. A teacher is someone who leads. There is no magic here. I do not walk on water. I do not part the sea. I just love children." Teachers help make a person who they are. The opportunities presented to a student in the classroom help shape their personality. Most students never truly realize their potential as leaders until they're given a chance to lead in class. Most never learn their talents or are able to express them until their teachers allow them to use them. In elementary school, my 5th grade teacher recommended me to do a leadership workshop. This sparked the interest in leadership for me. This interest eventually won me an executive board position in an organization called CRASC. CRASC is an organization in Anne Arundel County Public Schools run by students to give other students from middle and high schools in the county leadership training. I never would have done this if my teacher hadn't given me the opportunity to be a leader. William Arthur Ward once said, "Teaching is more than imparting knowledge. It is inspiring change. Learning is more than absorbing facts. It is acquiring understanding." That teacher inspired a change for me. Teachers have a very important job that is often overlooked and underappreciated. Almost every billionaire entrepreneur gained an education at some point. Every high-ranking professional at a Fortune 500 company received a higher education. A Chinese proverb says, "If you're planning for a year, sow rice. If you're planning for a decade, plant trees. If you're planning for a lifetime, educate people." Education is crucial to succeeding in our current times, and we can't reach a higher form of education without good teachers. My grandmother, Patricia B. Caldwell, was a teacher. I personally love to say that she inspired me to do more with my education, push myself to reach my potential in my education, and settle for nothing less than the best I can do. Dr. Marva Collins also said, "What all good teachers have in common, however, is that they set high standards for their students and do not settle for anything less." My grandmother did that for me and my siblings, and she's a true inspiration to us because of that. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
My name is Danielle Washington, and I'm a recent graduate from Bowie State University.
Go, go, go.
I graduated on May 23rd with a dual certification in early childhood and special education. Yes. And I recently signed a contract with the Vansville Elementary School in Prince George's County in Beltsville. I'll be teaching 5th grade. I'm having special education classrooms, so that's how I can do it with my early childhood certification. 5th grade, teaching reading and social studies. 3-way rotation, so about 80 kids. So please keep me in your prayers. But very excited nonetheless. I actually did my student teaching at Vansville, so it's kind of falling right back into place. Like, it's not all new to me. I've been at the school before, so I'm very excited. I was asked to come and talk about the impact of teaching and how I see how educators influence students. And for me, I think teaching is a calling. No one wakes up and says, I want to be a teacher for the money. You do it because you love kids, you love children, you want to see children succeed, you want to be a part of their future, you want to have an impact on them, which is why I teach. I had my 5th grade teacher, Mrs. Brown. She was an advocate for us. She spoke up for us. She stood for us. I knew she wasn't in it just for the job. I knew she loved each and every one of us. And since then, I've wanted to be a teacher. And she is why I am a teacher. She's not here today, but she is my inspiration. And that's what I hope to be for my students. I want them to see a role model in me. I want them to be able to look at me and see that I care about them. There's never been a Sunday that I dread going to work. I'm excited to go see my kids. I miss them when I don't see them Saturday and Sunday. And it's just empowering the students. Watching the TED Talk, I've seen that a million times at Bowie. They show it to us all the time, but it's really great to see that you need to empower your students. For me, every Monday we have a Monday morning meeting where they tell me about their weekend. Just knowing that I care, what did you do this weekend? What happened? You need to talk to me. Just so they know that right there is a connection that they have with me, and they know they can talk to me about anything they ever need to. I have a box, they can write notes to me. Just knowing that you care. Knowing that I'm not there just to get you your test and learn, but you can talk to me. Knowing that they can trust me. Anything you need to tell me, it's fine. I'm here for you. This is my job. I'm here for you. So we have our children about 6 or 7 hours a day. They see their teachers more than they see their parents most of the time. We are with them all the time. So children now go home to things that as adults we have not even heard of. They're going through divorce, and some children have blended families, things that when I was in school wasn't happening as much. And they're also in society now with racism and prejudice and all these other things. They're now coming to the classroom with them. When they're with me for 6 to 7 hours a day, that's another, on top of the curriculum, I have to put that in. I have to look for other articles and other books to show my children that this is in the world, but it doesn't have to affect you negatively. This is a part of your life. You have to be a teacher, you have to be the mom, dad, grandma, nurse, a therapist, everything when you're at school, and it just shows how important our job is as educators and the impact we have to have on our students. Thank you so much for inviting me, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the program.
At this time, we have the distinguished pleasure to present the sermon, introduce to others, Anne Arundel County's Teacher of the Year, Mrs. Christine Houston from Broadneck Elementary School.
Thank you so much. I'm going to keep my comments brief, but I am so proud to be here today among the company of legends. I'm a history teacher. I'm actually at Broadneck High School, and so I'm delighted and thrilled to be able to speak to some of the living legends in teaching in the county. I've been so lucky to spend 15 years at Broadneck High School, and I was happy to see Mr. Trotter here today, who I've worked with, and several other colleagues from Anne Arundel County Public Schools. So happy to represent, happy to see mentors and colleagues here as well today, and thank you for having me.
Well, thank you, and let's give everyone a hand, particularly our young people today.
Our speaker today is Rose Tasker. a 1965 graduate of Wally H. Bates High School. She has dedicated her professional career to the education of children, parents, teachers, instructional leaders, principals, and sometimes superintendents. I first met Mrs. Tasker when she was a 6th grade teacher at Tyler Heights Elementary School, and I was the assistant principal. We hit it off right away, and then she moved on to become a resource teacher, assistant principal, and principal. But we met again professionally when she was assigned the principalship at Van Bocklin Elementary School, the only school in Anne Arundel County that had been named Reconstitution eligible, meaning state takeover. We spent many late evenings and nights trying to devise a plan for improving student achievement at Van Bocklin. And we had many, many fun experiences. But one day, Mrs. Tasker said to me, "Dr. Boyd, I'm going to take my students on an airplane flight." So, in 2004, through Southwest Airlines Adopt a Pilot program, 4th grade students from Van Bocklin traveled via Southwest Airlines to Birmingham, Alabama to visit key sites in civil rights history. For many students, this was the first time they'd been on an airplane, and the first time they traveled outside of Anne Arundel County. I can tell you she holds a BS degree, a master's degree, and I can tell you she worked over 30 years in the field of education. But most educators have the same credentials because they are requirements for the profession. But the qualities that Mrs. Tasker possesses separates her from just the required credentials. She is compassionate, driven, intelligent, and grounded in her faith. She has been a successful principal, Title I specialist, restructuring implementation specialist, leadership coach, and educational consultant. After retirement from Anne Arundel County Public Schools, Mrs. Tasker worked in Baltimore City as a school improvement coach. She is in the process of writing a book, The Why Factor, for children and their family, and to children's family. In her resume, she states, "Touching the lives of as many young people and making a difference in their academic achievement, behavior, and attitude has been my long-term goal. Experience has been a great teacher for me. I've learned from both positive and negative situations. I know the value of integrity, vision, knowledge, understanding, enthusiasm, and compassion. Improving the performance of all students, especially those enrolled in low-performing schools, has been my passion. These qualities have been the foundation for the success I've achieved as an educational leader, consultant, coach, and teacher. She represents all that is great and wonderful about being an educator. Please welcome to the podium our guest speaker and my friend, Mrs. Rose Tasker."
Thank you, Dr. Boyd. I'm just so touched. I'm humbled. I do what I do because I want to make a difference. So thank you for that. I'm very emotional right now. I didn't expect that. First, let me say thank you to the Board of Directors for your vision for the Bates Legacy Center. And I also want to thank the committee for the opportunity to address you all today. A very special warm thanks to all of the educators present here today. You truly touch the future because you teach. Our world, our country, our communities, our schools, our families, and individuals look to you for guidance for success. To all of our veteran educators, teachers, administrators, support staff, and others, you touch lives, many lives, and chart the pathways to realize dreams. Thank you, and may God continue to bless you and bless you for all of the work that you have done for our homes, our schools, our communities, for our country. I thank you. The pathways that you have provided can lift others, bring about change, which we need, achieve that which somebody said it couldn't be done. But guess what? Legends, you did it. Thank you. Yes, the harvest continues. The fruit of your labor has created many responsible, respectful, and caring individuals to continue your journey. The journey to realize the potential of every student whose life you touched and provide for them that same pathway that you have provided for us. Thank you so much. I'm so glad that I had the opportunity to attend Wally H. Bates High School. Let the legend live on. I'm so thankful for the teachers that I had. They touched my life. They lifted me up, and they lit that pathway for profound wisdom, insight, and optimism. I know that they were inspired. Not only did they touch hearts, but with their deep passion, they made a difference, and they touched hearts. Thank you. As I reflect on my life, I think about my childhood, elementary, junior high, senior high school, graduation, college, marriage, my family life, my career, church, and individuals who made an impact on me. Many of them are here today. They made an impact because of 5 traits that stood out. And I want to say to you, listen to these traits, especially our teachers. These traits were developed in my home with my family. My mother and father did what they could do to develop these traits. Our society has become very challenging, and we have many issues. But I believe that with collaborative efforts of the home, the school, and community, we can face these challenges and overcome them. I believe that. That first trait is encouragement. I remember encouragement. As a student, my teachers encouraged us. I can still remember Miss Jefferson. I don't know if you all remember her. But Miss Jefferson encouraged us. I can hear her say, "Come on, you can do it. You got this." Or, "Hey, I believe you can achieve more. Give it your all." These uplifting words made the difference for me and the classmates in my class. They can make a difference today. Remember to encourage not just your students, but encourage everyone that you meet. I remember the support. That's another trait, support. My teachers conveyed a belief that all students could succeed, and they provided assignments to fit our needs so that we could succeed. Remember, teachers, present-day teachers, remember to provide the support that your children need. You can use to change the world. Teachers, you can change the world. One student at a time, one class at a time, one school at a time. As we go about change, we must remember and apply the words of Thomas Jefferson. And remember this: an educated person without character is a menace to society. So we need character as we teach in the math, the science, the social studies, and all of those other things. They must have character if we want them to participate in the job market, to be a good citizen, and just know how to live a happy, fulfilling life. In Standing for Something, New York Times bestseller, Gordon B. Hinckley outlined 10 neglected virtues that will heal hearts, homes, schools, communities, our country, yes, the world too. These 10 things are love, and you heard a lot of that today, honesty, morality, civility, learning, forgiveness, mercy, gratitude, optimism, faith. All of these things will help us to build character. And within those 10 things, you will find those 5 traits: encouragement, support, caring, investment, and challenging. I am an optimist, I believe. To all present, I leave you with that one thing that can change the world, which is education, those 5 traits that we talked about, and those 10 neglected virtues. I hope that you, everyone here, hope that you will believe in yourself. It was one of the things that we taught the children at Van Bachlen. Isn't that right, Miss Hardy? Believe in yourself, because whatever you wish, whatever you dream, whatever you hope to achieve, whatever you try for, whatever you plan, it is yours. If you only believe. Believe in yourself. Thank you so much, and many blessings to all of you and to your families. And thank you again for asking me to address this wonderful group.
Thank you to you from our hearts, and enjoyed your message. And
people can hear words you're saying.
I want to thank Ms. Tasker for the wonderful speech that she had and all of her education. I want to thank Ms. Tasker for the wonderful words that she had and the teaching experience, that she gave all of us something to think about, and she let all of us know that her journey wasn't for nothing, that all the teachers that inspired her life, she still remembers everything that they did to help her across the bridge. And for that, we want to give her these roses and say thank you for coming back out, which she didn't have to do, accept engagement, to be here today, to be our guest speaker, and help us continue our dream. Thank you.
Thank you.
educators come up while the band plays? If you are a distinguished educator, look on your hand and see if it says distinguished educator. And we're going to have distinguished educators come up while the band gives us a selection. All the distinguished educators, please come forward at this time. Leaders providing a lot of strategies and encouragement on this whole project. She's listed in the program as a center volunteer, but that's with all capitals. That we had a strategic planning session, and she led us through that work as well, a distinguished educator herself. Again, welcome Mrs. Alta Shaw to our program, and she'll lead us to the next segment. Ms. Shaw.
Okay, you've heard wonderful things about wonderful people, and so now I want to take the time to introduce you to our distinguished educators for 2015. I know that if I were to ask you, how many of you know from your past a teacher who had eyes in the back of their head, who could talk to three people or maybe four at one time, the person in front of them, the one to the right, one to the left, and then spin around and say, sit down, Johnny. You have those type of people behind you. Behind you, you have people whose parents were teachers, and so instead of calling them PKs as we do in church with preachers' kids, we have some TKs back here. We also have people who have gone above and beyond the duty, who have fed kids, who've clothed them, who have become social workers and doctors and lawyers, etc. Most importantly, I think you heard earlier about the relationships that you have to build with kids if they're going to be successful. These people have done that. We have among this group some of the best primary teachers, some of the best high school teachers, principals, so on and so forth. So we want to call their names and just keep in mind that these people represent people all over the country, and I would even say the world, who are what I call unsung heroes. Teachers never get the kind of credit that they should. You know, and as you heard earlier, there are days when teachers, your feet hurt, your head hurts, but you got to go on, you got to do it. And most importantly, to borrow from our spiritual world, they look beyond the cause and they see the need. A lot of our kids are angry today, but a teacher knows how to cut right through that anger, look in the hearts of those kids and say, I care for you. And I will venture to say that many of them will tell you that you can disarm any anger by looking in the eyes of those kids, and they know when you care. They're intuitive. So very proudly, I'm going to ask them to stand when I call their names. Marcia Baden. Maybe I'll step aside here. I can use my teacher voice, actually. Dr. Linda Boyd. Carol Borum. Larry Brogdon. And standing for Francis L. Brown is Dr. Karen Johnson, who is Miss Brown's proud daughter. So she's here today on behalf of her mother. Joseph Butler, Cynthia Hamlet Caldwell, Lily Caldwell, Patricia B. Caldwell. Pasadena's in the house. Okay. Helen Chambers. Valerie Mills Cooper, Brooke Falcomoju, Sheila Finlayson. She had to leave. Okay, Sheila's on our list. Laverna Hall, who every time I see her, my heart lights up because she reminds me of my mother, who was also a teacher. Patricia Handy, who also makes me smile. She knows why. Dr. Preston T. Hebron, who I love dearly as well. Gloria Johnson. She couldn't be here today, okay. Ortho Johnson.
President be counted for.
So you're representing as a kid.
I'm representing my mother.
There you go. Ramasil Johnson. John Jones. I'm sorry, these eyes are not good anymore. Mary McDay. And standing for Lucille Salisbury is her proud daughter, Faye Salisbury. Okay. Joyce Saez, my first grade classmate. We've been friends all these years. Lord have mercy. Rose Tasker. Rosemary Thompson, who I believe could not be here today because of bereavement in her family. George Trotter. Mr. Trotter. Betty Turner. Star Whiten, also my elementary school classmate, a little bit of somewhere in between. And Mr. Richard Kirby. So, folks, when you look at these people, think about the fact that your kids deserve nothing less than what you see in front of you. Nothing less. Every one of our kids. And so, keep in mind the grace and dignity that we've seen this week from our fellow folks in Charleston, South Carolina, and some of that same feeling exists by these people. Even though some of them are retired, they still work with kids, they encourage people who are going to become teachers, and we need to do the same. So we're just so proud of them. So if you will give the 2015 Distinguished Educators a hand, we'd appreciate it.
Each year, the chairman of the Wally H. Bates Legacy Center identifies one individual that has set themselves apart, providing extraordinary volunteer service to the Wally H. Bates Legacy Center. At this time, I would like to invite Stephen E. Butler forward, please. Stephen, please come forward. Mr. Butler has been providing volunteer services to the Wally H. Bates Legacy Center in the area of technology. He worked with us setting up our computers in the Legacy Center. He's maintained and designed our website. If you don't know it, it's www, or just type Bates Legacy Center and it pops up, it plays music, it has videos on it, it has a scorecard, distinguished alumni, upcoming events, how to donate, how to rent a facility, how to sing the alma mater. He has it all on there. Give him a hand. And it says the Chairman's Award presented this 27th day, June 2015, to Stephen E. Butler in appreciation for the outstanding commitment, dedication, and service to Wally H. Bates Legacy Center. So we present you this ink pen and this plaque. Look forward. So give him a big hand. Thank you, sir. Anything you'd like to say, sir? All right, and that's the proud son of Joe and Ernestine Butler. In addition to recognizing our supporters and sponsors, we had a handout on the list on your desk. Robert Brooks, Ann Dorsey, Classy Hoyle, Andrea Kane, John Reginald Miller, Dr. Les Mowbray, Mount Zion United Methodist Church, Ark Road, Lothian, Annetta Sproul, Reverend Dana Swan, Carol Wilson, Women of Color. We want to thank all of our supporters. They made donations and in-kind contributions. Free State Press, and others to make this day possible. Thank them, support the businesses, give them a word of encouragement. My final task of today is to put the spotlight on the visionary for today's program. If I could invite Mr. Clarence Ross Sr. to the program. It looks like he's giving himself flowers, so clap to him again. Nice, Mr. Ross. Mr. Ross has been with our Legacy Center, and he's been one of our business development coordinators. At one time, I asked Mr. Ross what was his astrological sign, and he had Taurus the bull, but I've changed it to pit bull. I don't know if y'all guys have worked with Clarence Ross, but he's very tenacious. I mean, he's persistent. He gets an idea in his head, and one idea he has been pushing is to establish a scholarship in the name of Wally H. Bates, where we have the S.M. Rich Scholarship. The Bates alumni historically has had the Stanton Bates Alumni Scholarship, but Mr. Ross said, well, we should have one named exclusively for Mr. Wally H. Bates. And so he came to the board, he voted, we voted. Believe it or not, it was a challenge, because how many scholarships can you have? Is a duplication, and all the reasons people might imagine. But he prevailed, and this day's activity, the proceeds are going to go to the Wally H. Bates Scholarship. And to the Wally H. Bates Legacy Center, because we had the point of view, we can push scholarships if we can't keep the lights on at the Legacy Center. That doesn't look well either. And so the proceeds will be used for both. So at this time, I'll just yield the mic to Mr. Ross to see what he has to say.
Good evening, everybody. It's been a while getting here, but it was well worth the journey to get here, because when you look back over the history of your school years and you think that a school like Wally Bates was there for you, and I just can't thank Mr. Wally enough for providing that school for all of us to have somewhere to graduate from. And I just, when I read Mr. Wally H. Bates' book, and you know, I had a little trouble getting out of school, and I just will tell you the truth. I started out in 1964, didn't make it. 65, didn't make it. And the word came out that Bates is going to close for the last year in 1966, that it would be no more all-black high school. So I had to get my act together and graduate with the class of 66. And you know, if you fail that many times, you can't tell nobody you're smart. So I just had to hang around and just look, you know, and look. But on a day like today, I can reach back and thank those educators that helped me to learn how to read and write and do the things that I needed to do. And I want to start by thanking Ms. Broxton from the Eastport School. She helped me back in the 3rd grade, and she said, Clarence, you're not reading well. But today I have to thank her, because from those words, not reading well, I can read real good today. And when I got in Bates High School, I think along the 9th grade, I was just hooking school, and because, you know, when you're the oldest one in school, you know, your day is a long day. Anyway, I found myself, I hooked that day, and I wound up over on Northwest Street. They was building the Goldstein building. And I saw those bricklayers over there reaching down, getting a brick and cutting it, reaching down, getting a brick and cutting it. And I said, I can do that. So I hooked back in school because they didn't miss me. They didn't miss me, so I hooked back in and it was just like nothing. But I said to myself from that day, I found my passion and I learned how to be a professional brick mason. And today as I speak, I want to let you know that I went over to Prince George County and built, me and a friend of mine, we went over there and we built a restaurant for my daughter and my son-in-law. And they have been open for 15 years. And the name of the restaurant is Smoke Shack Ribs over on Livingston Road. And I just can't thank God enough for allowing me to stay in high school and let these teachers continue to mold me into something usable. When you fail a lot, it's hard to believe that you can do anything. But I had that self-innovation to inspire me. I said that if I ever have any children, I wanted to be able to be the leader in the family and not the follower. So I was able to get all my kids to graduate from high school and 3 of them to graduate from college. And I just thank those teachers for allowing me to be a hero in my family. Because there's so many families today, the parents don't have any control over the children at all. And if you say to your child, I want you to go to Sunday school, he want to know that you go. Go to church, he want to know that you go. Graduate from high school, did you graduate? Go to college, did you? So kids have the why thing today. But you know, when we look around this room, the educators that helped me to get here today, to let all of you appreciate your works that you did to help me to come back and help you be proud of our high school, Wally H. Bates. Because without the Wally H. Bates, none of us would have had anywhere else to go. It would have been awful hard for us to have all those counties to go and get an education when there was nowhere else to go. So I just want to say thank you to all of you for coming out today and helping me celebrate the Wally H. Bates Scholarship. And I want to start by thanking Miss Alma Cropper. And I want to get my classmates to stand. Wally H., our class of 66, will you stand? We got a couple of them. We got a few of them. Anyway, I don't know whether she left or not, but I want to thank Jolinda Brooks. Jolinda Gates Brooks.
There she is, Ross.
Oh, yeah, she's back there. And Jolinda and I went to Miss Alma to get this scholarship started. And we succeeded, and we had the first scholarship. I had a dance at Bates. The following year, I did a fish fry, and I raised $1,000, so we was able to give 2 scholarships. But I thought about cooking all them fish. And I said, if I don't find a way to get some more help here, I'm gonna be wore out. So what I did was I started thinking, and I asked, we had a seminar, and I asked a couple ladies to help me, and Miss Alta Shaw over there, I really liked how she had her seminar because she said she wanted to go with the past and the present. So that allowed me to reach back and get Mr. Bates up and put that on the platform. And then she incorporated Linda and Cynthia with her. Got a whole lot of events in there. And so anyway, she said, she kind of told me to get mine, and she was on the phone, and she had hers, and we got it together. But from that day to this day, I've been hitting the dictionary and working with the computer. I went back to Bates High School because I didn't know how to work the computer. So now I can go on there and I can do a little something. I just thank God that the school opened back up so I can go back in and get that education. But today is a special, special, special day because I don't know when we've seen this many educators together that had not seen each other in years. And we just want to thank you for sharing the love with everybody here and just coming out to inspire this program, and I know that if we reach back at you, I know that you'll be there for us. And I just want to say thank you, thank you, thank you. And for my musician back there, Miss Valerie Mills, you come forward. You know, when you're doing these projects and the first word come out your mouth when you look at the people that's the performers and you say, do you do any charity? And you know when you say that charity part, the professionals don't want to hear that. They're in the business for the money. But this is the second year that Miss Valerie Mills have accepted my invitation to come and be part of my program. And the good part about it, she didn't raise the bar on me. She let me get by with the same bar that I had. I just say thank you. I just say thank you to Miss Valerie and the rest of the group in the Mighty Forefront. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I had to give all of them a hug because I'd have been in trouble again. But I just want to say thank you for everyone. And I want to say a special thanks to Mr. Vince Leggett. You know, Vince is the kind of person that he observed a lot of things. And when he brought me into this organization, he turned me on to Miss Darden. I didn't know what was going to happen. But thank God I went to church and I paid attention and I learned the agenda. So once you learn the agenda, you can stay with it. But Vince told him that I was a pretty good guy, and he let me explain to Miss Darden that I could raise some money. And Miss Darden gave me the road range so I could go out and do projects for the Legacy Center. And also Miss Alma Cropper did the same thing. And now Mr. Leggett has taken over the reins. And one thing Vince said to me, he said there's 3 things you have to know, and this is going to be the last that I'm saying. He says, what to say, when to say, and does it have to be said by Clarence Ross? Thank you. Thank everyone for coming out.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Leggett.
Thank you, Mr. Ross. I mean, it just shows you what God can do. And so, and Mr. Ross didn't do too good on the test either. But he's my main man. As I said, his astrological...
I left my face behind him.
You see, his astrological sign is pit bull, so y'all saw that in action. Once he gets going, he doesn't turn it loose, but it's very goal-oriented. And he wanted to be the keynote speaker, but we told him we already had one. But he found a way to be it anyway. And we love him. We love him. We love him. We love him. And so, I think I don't have anything else to add. Linda? The alma mater? Yep, we can do the alma mater. And then it's over. Just want to thank you all. Anybody want to lead us in that? Reverend Seal? Here she comes. She'll lead us in it. If you stand, and I'll do the benediction, and then we'll do the song, and then we'll fellowship and thank you all. Oh, Heavenly Father, we just want to say thank you for our time together. We thank you, Heavenly Father, for recognizing the living legends and the distinguished educators. When we depart from this place, oh Heavenly Father, please don't depart from us. Give us traveling mercies as we leave this place, and continue to bless this body to work in a mighty way. All that believe say amen. 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 Amen.
Let's give this committee just one more round of applause for putting it There is a school that we love so well. It's Bates, dear Bates, one and whose name all our hearts still thrill. It's Bates, dear Bates, all glory, thine, I praise.
you.